Taylor Mitchell was born August 27, 1990, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. She grew up in the Roncesvalles neighbourhood of Toronto. Taylor became interested in performing by her mid-teens, and after graduating from the Etobicoke School of the Arts with a major in musical theatre, decided on a career as a singer and songwriter. Her debut album, For Your Consideration, received encouraging reviews and airplay. Following a busy summer performance schedule, which included an appearance as a young performer at the Winnipeg Folk Festival. To promote the album, she went on a solo concert tour of the Maritime provinces, beginning on October 23, 2009. At her last show, Taylor had informed the organizers that she planned to take the time to go hiking during the 2 days break before her next performance in Sydney, a small city on Cape Breton Island. Taylor was an environmentalist who enjoyed nature walks. She set out on the 7-kilometer Skyline Trail in Cape Breton Highlands National Park on the sunny afternoon of October 27, 2009. At 2:45 p.m., a middle-aged American couple, going in the opposite direction, passed her near the beginning of the Skyline Trail in Petit Étang. The trail was mostly empty because it was late in the season and in the middle of the week. For an unknown reason, she doubled back after going a short distance along the trail and came back down the access road, intending to return to her car. There is a possibility that a coyote was stalking her at this stage. At 3 p.m., an American couple named Mike and Gail hiked on the access road heading to the car park. They moved out of the way when 2 coyotes were walking toward them along the road, but going in the opposite direction. One of the hikers photographed the coyotes with his camera before heading directly to the car park. It is believed these coyotes walked into Taylor on the access road 6 minutes later, when Mike and Gail heard what they thought could be either animals howling or a young woman screaming in the distance. The American middle-aged couple reported these commotions in a telephone box at the car park. A group of 4 other hikers arrived in the car park, where they heard about the possible screams in the distance from the American couple. After several minutes' walk along the access road, they began to find Taylor's personal items, including keys and a small knife. As the hikers turned into the clearing at the head of the trail, they saw torn pieces of bloodied clothing and a large amount of blood along the ground. A washroom in the clearing had blood on the door. At 3:25 p.m., in the woods close by, they found a badly injured Taylor lying on the ground, still being attacked by a pair of coyotes. Her body was covered in bite wounds. They were able to finally scare the animals away by yelling and hurling stones. Taylor was hurt badly, but she was conscious and able to communicate with the group until the first RCMP car pulled up. The larger coyote had stayed near, apparently unwilling to give up. Coyote remained close by, growling and unafraid until a Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer fired a shotgun at it. Taylor was bitten over most of her body, with particularly serious wounds to her leg and head. Paramedics took her to Sacred Heart Community Health Centre in Etobicoke, where she was then airlifted to Queen Elizabeth II Health Sciences Centre in critical condition. Despite the efforts of medical personnel, she died from blood loss the following morning. Investigators quickly assembled the evidence to form a probable account of Taylor's final moments. It appeared that she had turned back toward the parking lot instead of completing the entire 7-kilometer loop of the trail. In doing so, she encountered the same pair of bold and aggressive coyotes that the American couple had previously encountered further along the path. The knife and keys suggested that Taylor had tried to fend off the animals before escaping toward the washroom she had just passed minutes earlier, leaving her belongings behind in the chaos. Bloodstains smeared on the door of the unlocked washroom reveal how narrowly she escaped shutting herself inside, only to be overwhelmed by the coyotes who subsequently dragged her into the nearby trees, launching a relentless and predatory assault. The authorities acted quickly following the attack. Hours after the incident, while the trail was closed to the public, a female coyote that acted aggressively was killed by a warden keeping watch at the washhouse location. 3 others within 1 kilometer or 0.62 miles of the Skyline Trail were caught in leg-hold traps and killed before a large male weighing 42 pounds or 19 kilograms was similarly dispatched 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles away on November 14. Scientific investigation of the carcasses determined that 3, including the first and last accounted for, were linked to the attack on Taylor by her blood on their coats and other forensic evidence. The large male coyote was found to have been both the dominant lead coyote photographed on the access road and the one found standing over Taylor. Coat markings in the photographs identified its carcass, which also contained pellets from the shotgun of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police constable who fired while at the scene. The dead coyotes not linked to the attack may have been packmates of the attackers. The large male and the female may have been a breeding pair. Both were related to the other attack-implicated coyote. Various other proposed explanations why the unusual attack occurred included that the coyotes might have been larger and bolder than normal coyotes because they were crosses with wolves or domestic dogs, rabid, starving, or protecting a carcass. None of these suggestions were subsequently borne out, causing a reassessment of potential risk to humans from coyote attacks. It was also thought by experts that Taylor may have inadvertently provoked a predation behavior by running away, though a coyote may have been behind her when she was confronted by the oncoming ones. Trent University's Environmental and Life Sciences Graduate Program professor and Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources research scientist, Brent Patterson, later commented that the two coyotes in the male hiker's photo exhibited an extraordinary lack of fear, with one displaying what verged on a dominant attitude toward humans. As is standard practice when an animal remains at large after killing a human, wardens searched for the attacker animal in the vicinity, where 5 or 6 coyotes were believed to live. Taylor's mother issued a statement saying that her daughter would not have wanted her death to result in the extermination of the coyotes. The report of coyotes attacking and killing a healthy adult left many in disbelief, as most outdoor enthusiasts had never envisioned large coyotes as a potential danger. Initial speculation about the animals possibly being rabid was swiftly dismissed when necropsy results revealed that the coyotes implicated in the incident were in good health and free of rabies. Another widely discussed theory is that the animals responsible for the attacks were coyote-wolf hybrids instead of pure coyotes. Although there are no wolf populations in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick to account for such hybrids, the size and aggressive behavior of the animals involved led many investigators to conclude that they belong to the eastern coyote subspecies found in Atlantic Canada, which is notably larger than those in Western Canada and the United States. Biologists suggest that this increased size and temperament may result from interbreeding with wolf populations that still existed in eastern Canada when many coyotes were pushed north out of the Great Plains due to American colonization. In mid-November 2009, a coyote came up behind a couple walking in the park, approaching so closely that the man hit it on the head with a walking stick. Park conservation managers and scientists opposed a general cull on the grounds that coyotes have the ability to reproduce quickly, and culling would be likely to have no impact, or the opposite of the desired effect. This reasoning assumes that animals removed from the local gene pool by a cull would have the same propensity to fear humans as those coyotes that avoided being caught and killed. In April 2010, Nova Scotia declared a $20 bounty on coyotes, but this did not apply within the park. Visitors were asked to report encounters with coyotes. 10 months after Taylor's death, a 16-year-old girl who went camping with her parents at Broad Cove in Ingonish was bitten twice on the head by a coyote. A scientific study found that though usually unseen, coyotes were often in proximity to humans. Individual coyotes that are not conditioned by non-lethal aversion measures and fail to avoid humans are killed. Bad Coyote, a documentary film centered in part on Taylor's death and the wider issue of coyote habitat expanding into Atlantic Canada, was released in 2013. In 2022, a study by Stan Garrett, wildlife ecologist at Ohio State University, was released that revealed the coyotes had been living on a diet of moose rather than their typical diet of smaller animals. It was concluded that the unavailability of smaller prey led the coyotes to become accustomed to large targets, leading them to see the young woman as a potential food source. As a memorial, Taylor's mother established the Taylor Mitchell's Legacy Trust, which has a partnership with the David Suzuki Foundation. The trust promotes community outreach for musical/creative expression as well as educating on habitat preservation, the balance between human and wildlife interaction in both natural and urban settings, and safety precautions.